Hi, welcome back to Single on Purpose, the podcast where we explore how to live with intention, fulfillment, and purpose in your single season. I am Brittney Batson, and I am your host and also the author of Single on Purpose, and I'm so excited to be diving into today's topic. And it's one that I really think hits home for so many of us. And our big question today is, are you thirsty? Now, before you start thinking about the latest internet slang or thirst, she's thirsty, let me clarify what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a deeper kind of thirst, like the longing that you feel for love, connection, validation, and how thirst can lead us to seek fulfillment in sometimes like not so great places, right? I think that sometimes we really need to sit and unpack our loneliness and what we really are feeling in that moment and think about why. So first, let's talk about what does it mean to be thirsty. Yes, we know, we have heard like she's so thirsty, we make jokes about it, all those things, but I'm not talking about that kind of thirst. I want to start with a question here. What are you longing for? Are you longing for love, validation, relationships, friendships? It's a feeling that's like really deep in that you desire. And you want someone or something to come and fill it so that you don't have to feel that feeling anymore. So here's the thing about thirst. It's not just about wanting something, it's about a craving so strong that it can drive us to make choices we wouldn't normally make. And maybe it's like reaching out, think about reaching out to an ex and settling for less than what you deserve, right? Because it's a distraction from feeling empty. It fills the void of emptiness. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what am I really thirsting for? Is it love? Is it a deeper connection? Is it peace? Is it acceptance? Is it a sense of self-worth? Are you trying to feel like you belong? What really is it? It really brought me to this story in the Bible, and it was the woman at the well, and I believe it's such a powerful illustration of the thirst that we all feel at some point in time. And so in this story, this woman came to a well and she came to draw water out of the well. And there she actually met Jesus, and she was living a life filled with desires and broken relationships. And she had a thirst herself. And her thirst she didn't know about. But Jesus said to her, whoever drinks from this well, from this water, will never thirst again, right? And honestly, when I first heard this story, I was young, but I really didn't understand. But what he was really offering to her wasn't water. It wasn't water from the well. It was fulfillment. It was a deeper connection. It was a way for her to walk away from what she was doing and walk into what she could have, right? She could have that relationship, that connection, that fulfillment, that void filled by a relationship with God. I think many of us, we have to think and go back to that sometimes. Like, what is our well? What is it? A toxic relationship, an unhealthy habit, or are we chasing external validation? Is it social media? And I kind of hit on this in I think episode 1, and I talked about a little bit, just sometimes we are lonely and we don't know what to do with it. So we find ourselves actually doing things we wouldn't normally do, but it's just to fill that void with a distraction to keep us from feeling lonely. But I want to talk to you about quenching the thirst, right? Quenching the loneliness with things that are actually helpful and positive and uplifting and can push you in a more positive and happy direction. And I think sometimes it's just, not overcommitting to work or to events, not calling or texting the ex that you walked away from for a specific reason, right? Not comparing your life to others and not being envious or jealous, especially when you have so many things on social media. And I remember when I was dating someone. Well, we were not dating. I went on a date with this person, but I knew that before we even went out, the way it started, I was like, you're just lonely. You're only entertaining this person because you feel lonely. You've dropped your standards a little bit. You're kind of not letting yourself walk in faith in this area right now because you're lonely, and you're allowing this person to distract you from what you should be doing, what you could be doing with your time, right? So how many of us have gone on a date, been in a relationship, had friendships that we just settled in, right? And we settled because they filled us, right? They weren't necessarily fulfilling, but they filled us. How many times have we stepped into a job, or we've gone to a social event, or we've done something that, we only did it because it was a distraction from feeling lonely? Well, that necessarily isn't always the healthiest choice. I really am a strong advocate for being able to be alone and be with yourself at times and get to know yourself and love yourself and have quiet time with God and have quiet time with yourself and journal and take walks and slow down and refocus and really rebalance your life. But I'm also a huge advocate on not settling for less than what you feel like you're worth and what God has for you. And I know it's so hard. Someone asked me the other day, they were like, how do you do it? I was like, honestly, I would never say this is easy. This is a choice that I have to make daily by journaling, by getting in the presence of God, by playing Maverick City, my favorite music, and walking through the mall and just releasing all of those desires. Sometimes I need to release them and give them to God, and I need to release them and let them go. I need to release them and not try to control so much and not try to make things fit into my life and make things distractions, but actually just sit in it sometimes. It's okay to sit in loneliness. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to say, I don't want that in my life anymore. I walked away from that for a reason. It's a distraction. It's not good for me. I'm not going back, even if I am lonely, even if I am facing a season of loneliness. And, loneliness is different than being lonely and being alone. I really am a huge advocate on making new friends, developing healthy relationships. I am not single and always alone. Absolutely not. I believe in a healthy balance. Being in healthy relationships and friendships with people that are on the same path as you, that are like-minded, that are pushing you and encouraging you, not to put distractions in your life and not to be a distraction, but actually nourishing your soul, encouraging your walk, and telling you that you're great and affirming you and supporting you. Absolutely, we need human connection, 100%. It's more so when we are always around people and we can't be alone, because then they become a distraction for what we're truly feeling. I had to learn how to sit by myself and be alone. I was going through a season of loneliness where I felt like I was alone on many occasions, actually, more than I had wanted to. And I realized, I was that woman at the well. I was the woman at the well. I was going to the wrong things to fill my soul, to fill my spirit, right? I was, like I said, overspending, over traveling, always doing something new. Just felt so much pressure to perform and to be seen, to get love and validation. I don't know how many people feel that way. Like you feel like the only way that I'm loved, or the only way that I'm seen, is if I excel or do something great. Right? And the truth is, that's not true at all. You are already loved. The moment you are born, the moment you wake up every single day, you are loved to your maximum capacity. And that love is free. You don't have to do anything for it. And it is the most beautiful love that you will ever experience. And I truly believe I've been able to experience it in my season of singleness, to a place that has humbled my heart, that has allowed me to walk in my singleness more purposefully, and to understand that, how to love and what love really is. Because sometimes we don't really know what love is. We know what we've experienced. And I realized, maybe I don't know what the healthiest version of love is. But as I started to spend time and get to know God, and, continuing to go to church and volunteering and learning just, how to serve other people, I learned, and definitely reading the Bible for sure, I learned who God really is. And I learned what his love really is and feels like. And I will tell you, my number one go-to always will be during this time was in my car. My car was like my sanctuary. I was there all the time because I had a full-time job, and then I had a job after that. I'd go tutor for hours, right? So the tutoring job I had was actually a little bit far away, so I had about like a 45-minute drive there and back. So I would start playing music, and then I stumbled upon this amazing sermon by Stephen Furtick, and I really encourage you to listen to it. It's The Thirst Trap, and it was about the woman at the well, and it talked about how many times we get trapped. How many times are we thirsty, right? There are tons of times we're thirsty. There's tons of times that we get trapped, that we end up going to and doing things that we probably shouldn't, right? That we've already been called away from, that we already said we're not doing that anymore. But because we are facing a season of loneliness, or we are alone, or we don't know how to be lonely, or we're embarrassed, we feel like we have to go and feel it, or we don't know how to sit with the feeling. Well, I believe this just comes from emotional maturity, self-awareness, and understanding, hey, I'm lonely today. I am able to articulate that better now. And now I go, your actions are showing you're lonely today. And I learned in something that has stuck with me forever. It's God calling you. When you feel lonely, it's God calling you to spend time with Him. That changed my entire life, because there are thousands of times I have felt lonely. But I started to train my brain to go, wait, no, you're not lonely for a man. You're not lonely for friendships right now. You're lonely for the presence of God. Go play a song. Take a walk and listen to music. Pull out your Bible. And every single time, I will tell you, every single time, the feeling that I once had, the feeling of loneliness goes away. And I will leave you with this amazing verse that says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. You never really are alone. Powerful. When you truly start to understand who God really is, it's amazing. And it's so important to understand where you're thirsty, what time of day you get thirsty, what time of the season you get thirsty. What do you do when you're thirsty? When you're at the well, what are you pulling from? What are you pulling for? Who? What? Is it alcohol? Is it a substance? Is it a person? Is it a relationship that you know you should have walked away from? Is it a job? Is it jobs that you're like, I said I wasn't going to do that anymore? What is it? Is it overeating? Is it procrastination? Is it a negative self-talk? What is it when you're at that well that you're pulling from? Well, guess what? The next time you're at that well, pulling for whatever that is, ask yourself, am I lonely? Why am I doing this? And then I want you to receive what God told the woman at the well. You don't have to thirst. I am here. You don't have to do that. You do not have to go out with him. You don't have to settle for them, that relationship. You don't have to settle for those friendships if they're not encouraging you on the path that you feel like you're called. You don't have to do that. Come to me. And I promise you, play that song from your favorite Christian artist. Take that walk, journal. Pick up your Bible, read one verse. That's where I started. And I promise it will change your entire life. Now you're like, this is so hard. This is so much work. Yes, I know. I was like that in the beginning. I was like, this is so much work. But remember what we talked about in episode 1. Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Sometimes we think, oh, I have to sit here for an hour. No, your stamina's not there. Like, it's like running, right? When you go and you run on the track, you run outside, wherever you run, you're not, well, some people, let me take that back, okay? Some people will get out there and kill it, all right? Now, most people are not just going to go and run a marathon. People have to train for that, right? They train like a year, months for that, right? They have to get their body up to the point to be able to do that, to perform to that level. So take off all that pressure. God never said, you must sit here for, that's not God. Take it slow. Take it easy. This is a new habit. It's something new. Start including it into your morning. Start including it at night. I actually like to pull out my Bible at night and read it while I'm in the bed. I think during lunchtime is a great time. Like I said, in the car, if you find yourself in the car a lot, push play, push play. Okay, listen, of course, encourage yourself too. You have to play a really big role in encouraging yourself and knowing that yes, God is with me, but yes, I have to do my part in this relationship, in this walk as well, right? Because as you start to walk in your purpose, as you start to uncover certain things and discover certain things about yourself, you are going to realize, wait, I don't want that in my life anymore. You're going to walk away from a lot of things and maybe some people and maybe some habits that you've had your entire life. God will start to show you, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, come with me. Like, there's a better way. And I'm telling you, it's life-changing. You will become and start to see, wow, like God loves me so much. I am purpose for this. I can do this. And I'm not alone. And I believe in my heart that as you start to uncover certain things you used to thirst for and you replace them with healthier habits, you will experience your best self. You will get to experience yourself at a level that you may have never dreamed of. And I just say, give yourself a shot. Give yourself a shot. You're here. You're here on this earth. You might as well, right? You might as well see what the best version of yourself could possibly be while you're here. And that's how I live my life. You know, I have so many habits and so many things that I have to think about. Like, I'm that woman at the well sometimes, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going back there. God has pulled me away from that, or I've learned new habits instead of that. And it's not about perfection, it's about progression. It's about progress, taking little bitty steps every single day and trusting and having faith. And that one day will turn into 6 months, and that those 6 months will turn into a year, and that year will turn into 5 years, and you'll realize, wait, I'm a whole new person. Like, I'm so much better than I used to be. I don't even care to do those things anymore, right? I have filled my life and my spirit and my heart with so many better hobbies, so many more encouraging people, and it makes me a better person at the end of the day. And that to me is so good, because at the end of the day, it's not always about the most money, the most accomplishments, how many people know your name. To me, it comes down to one simple question: were you a good person? Were you a good person? Right? And helping yourself grow, helping yourself push past some of those setbacks and no longer thirst for those habits that do you no good, that serve you no good towards walking to your purpose. I think you are on the path to discovering all of who you are and all of what God has for you. I just really believe it's just giving yourself the opportunity one day at a time. And like I said, starting with 5 minutes. When you feel like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm lonely, it's God calling me. Just spend time with Him. Don't want to take a walk, don't want to read a Bible verse, don't want to listen to some music, don't just want to sit and journal. There's options there. And that's the neat thing about it. And you'll have the opportunity to see which one you enjoy and you like the most, and which one brings you the most clarity for the next step in your walk. And maybe you like them all. I personally like them all. It just depends on the day and how I'm feeling. So I really encourage you to think about what makes you thirsty, and in those moments, challenge yourself. Why am I choosing this? Why am I thirsty? Am I just lonely? And in those moments, remember, wait, God said, all you who thirst, come to me. And He's saying that I will fill you up. I will be your water. You don't have to do that anymore. Walk away from that. Let's walk into a new path and a new beginning for you that I have for you. And give it a shot. Give God one area of your life that you're like, yeah, at nighttime around 10 o'clock, I do end up texting someone that I shouldn't be texting. Or, man, I think like at 12, I should be eating healthy, but I know I'm just overeating because I'm lonely and I'm sad and I don't have anyone to eat with. Or Maybe you're in the car and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this or listening to the scrolling on social media and driving. Let me listen to a positive podcast like Single on Purpose or jump into something that's going to push my spirit to a better and elevate my spirit to a better place. So just give yourself those opportunities to grow. And remember, it's one day at a time, 5 minutes, one day at a time. And you will see that, wow, okay, I'm building a new habit. I'm changing. I'm growing. I no longer thirst for those things anymore. I actually thirst for these things. And I believe in you. I understand. I have been there, and I still have those situations that come up today. Like I said, every day is a personal choice to choose. You're going to thirst. You're going to be alone. You're going to face loneliness. You're human. The question is, what do you do when you thirst, when you face those moments? Are you just going to do things that are easy and are not good for you and that leave you thirsty still? You were doing it for a whole hour and you wonder why you're still thirsty. Because it did not quench your thirst. It wasn't made to, and it's not going to. It's going to keep you thirsty. It's going to keep you coming back, right? And ironically, they're not good things sometimes, right? Those things that quickly keep pulling us back and back and back and back, they sometimes are the worst things that we could potentially become addicted to that are not good for us at all. But let's try to take one and release it. What if we take one? Instead of, when I'm lonely, getting on social media and scrolling through all my friends and seeing what they're doing, they're all married or they're all pregnant or they're all traveling or whatever it is that you see, I'm not going to pick up my phone this time. I'm going to listen to my favorite song. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to journal how I feel. I'm not going to pick up my phone. I'm not going to text anyone. I'm not going to get anyone's opinion. I'm going to do my part. And then when I do my part, I'm going to see how I feel at the end. I'm going to set my timer, 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm going to see how my spirit feels at the end. And I'm rooting for you, and I encourage you to know that you will see, okay, this is a better way. This is a better way to quench my thirst. I am Brittney Batson. I'm the host of A Single on Purpose. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time,